Like our new setup, it's different. I think it's better, huh? Looks better. Somewhere I got to get the drapes open so we got sunlight in this building. It's like a morgue. And sunlight's a good thing. We're going to try to bring a lot more light into the building. We're going to open up all the windows and take that stuff down. Good morning. Thanks again for your time. Thanks for joining us this morning. Little discussion about the last day, day 2 of our activities. Very good day. I enjoyed very much and felt privileged to be part of the inauguration and the election process for the new president of the Senate, the re-election of the president of the Senate. I really enjoyed gaveling. I had never been a gaveler before. I enjoyed gaveling almost as much as gaggling with you guys, so it was good. Most everybody got the memo on excellency except for Senator Haynes, so it's going to take a little coaching to get the excellency thing out of there, but we'll get that done. Went to about a half a dozen of the receptions, or maybe 7 of them yesterday with the legislators. Terrific time, great chance to socialize and visit, get to know everybody. Great turnout, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of bipartisan feeling of optimism and working together. I've already got a bunch of creative ideas from a number of the folks, so I'm very excited about that. Went to dinner last night with 4 legislators. Went to Augie's. That's a good pick. I don't know which. I think one of you guys told me about Augie's. Great food. I was impressed. Today, I'm going to visit a number of agencies, especially focused on IDOT and IEMA, make sure that we're honing in on the issues inside those agencies. Here this morning, we're here to announce another executive order. We've made it clear time and again that cronyism and insider deals have plagued our state for far too long. Good government's been taking a back seat in favor of secrets. We saw this up close throughout the last year with the multiple political hires made through the Illinois Department of Transportation. Trying to find the political hires was very difficult, and it's shocking that after the scandal broke open, it just was more of the same. Unfortunately, Governor Quinn has continued the past legacy of Governor Blagojevich and this stuff. Today, I'm signing an executive order requiring all Rutan-exempt employees to be published on the Illinois Transparency and Accountability Portal website. So all of us can see them real time, all the time. You guys got access to it, we all do. The people of the state of Illinois will now have a way to find the state's political hires very quickly, real time, all the time. We need to restore faith in state government, excuse me, if we expect the people of Illinois to help the government in its mission. This executive order is a first step towards earning back the people's trust. Furthermore, the executive order also instructs the Illinois Department of Central Management Services to assist units of local government in providing information about their employees for posting on the ITAP website. Because the issues here are not only at the state level, they're at local government, and we've got to help our local governments, our local taxpayers, get a handle on their local government spending so we can start to rein in our property tax issues. State Representative Franks, who I'm honored to have join me here today, he was the original sponsor of the legislation that was passed requiring most of this acknowledgement and work at the local government level, but it was never implemented. This is state law today. Governor Quinn argued against it and has not implemented it, and he's not encouraged CMS to act on it. He's allowed and encouraged CMS to ignore it. No more. We are going to get this done. We're going to begin to work and take action. These employees should be open and easily accessible to the people of our state. Illinois families deserve to know who's working for them. Part of the reason this has not been done is because no one wanted to take the scrutiny. That's wrong, and it's changing today. And with that, I'll ask Representative Franks to say a few words.
Thank you, Governor. Well, thank you. You want? Yeah. Like a lounge singer or something. All right, thanks.
Please don't.
Yeah, that's right. You've heard it, right? Well, I want to thank the governor, first of all, because I think this is a real example of bipartisanship that's necessary in the state. And it actually shows that the governor is doing his homework, and he's governing, and he's doing what needs to be done. And because financial transparency is a bedrock principle of any government. Knowing the specific costs of government and the players in the government and their administration will greatly help the taxpayers in making the hard choices that are necessary to get us back to our fiscal footing. I appreciate the governor because of the tone that he's already setting on this. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. It's something the General Assembly had already voted on overwhelmingly. It's something that I had argued with the former administration that needed to be put in, and they just simply refused to do it. And I think it's very heartening to see on the third full day in office of Governor Rauner that he's taking the transparency measures so critically important to the state, especially with our jaded history, to try to set us straight and to go forward on a more open and transparent government. So I want to thank him very much for this, and I look forward to working with him on many other initiatives for good government in Illinois.
Thank you, Representative Franks. Very special.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. All right, thanks. Now we'll open it up to questions.
Governor, I think there are about 2,900 lieutenant nurse employees. Do you have any idea of the number that you are looking to replace?
I don't. I can't give you that number.
Governor, part of the issue at IDOT was that the jobs were misclassified. It wasn't whether or not they were listed or named, but that they were kind of playing around with the titles of what the actual positions were. How would this address that?
That's a good question. I don't know, but we'll check into that and see if we can't make sure that our implementation of this helps. And if we find that we need to take further steps to help prevent that kind of shenanigans, we'll take further action. This is an ongoing process to kind of bring transparency. I'm sure that bad actors will try to end run some of this, and we'll just try to stay one step ahead of them. This is the first step of many to bring transparency and good government back into effect.
Governor, you mentioned IEMA. What issues are you going to be looking for there, and what do you think of IEMA director?
Well, we'll be talking about our various directors and hires in an ongoing process. We're going to try to assemble the most talented team of people that's ever been assembled for state government. IEMA is obviously a critical agency. We've taken steps already to make sure the transition is smooth. We want to make sure that our state is prepared during the transition in the eventuality of any emergency or crisis. We want to make sure everyone in the state's protected and we can deal with any crisis.
What does that mean for Director Monken?
We'll be discussing and addressing all the directors and the names and the titles as part of our process in due course.
A couple executive orders in a few days. Is that just something you want to do at the opening of your administration, or is this something you plan to do throughout your entire term?
Well, obviously, we're setting a tone early. Want to take decisive action early. We have a financial crisis, and we have an ethics crisis, and we want to take every action possible in the early days. I imagine we'll be using some executive orders throughout the 4-year period, but I imagine we'll probably be using more early than we will later. That would be my guess, but at this point, I can't say for sure.
The president has already indicated that he thinks you exceeded some of your authority here, as did he believes your predecessor. So how sure are you that these are going to hold up to scrutiny of Illinois law, and why not, work with the General Assembly to get some of these through so you don't have those questions?
Well, we've got a super legal team. I'm highly confident that every step we've taken so far is very much in accordance with the law and appropriate with the powers of the office. I don't have any concern there. And I certainly will be working very closely with the General Assembly on many issues. These in particular are things that I can get done quickly to set a tone and to begin the process. This is an ongoing process. This is a big turnaround. It's a big cultural change. It's not going to happen overnight. And these are just some of the first steps of many that we'll take together. And this is going to be bipartisan. This is bipartisan good government, and I'll be working very closely with the General Assembly.
Governor, what do you have to say about Betsy Steinberg
We've pretty much across the board had a termination for folks from the prior administration. Some, and there'll be a review process, some will be reinstated or rehired. We just are going through a process, and we want to look at everybody. We just want to make sure we've got the most talented people possible.
Governor, you mentioned the other day.
I'm sorry?
Will you discuss the gas tax at IDOT today?
I doubt that will particularly come up. I'm looking more at management structure and reporting. Tax issues are clearly going to be something that we talk about here in the coming weeks and months. That will primarily focus on that with the General Assembly, just looking overall. As I've said throughout, we need a comprehensive review of our tax code and looking at every piece of it.
Governor, you mentioned the other day
If the state
that,
fair, we're gonna get a new manager, why was that change necessary, and are you looking for any different emphasis on what the fair does or how it does it?
Again, we pretty much across the board asked for folks to tender their resignation. We'll be interviewing everybody, both prior and new. And we just want to make sure we've got superstars at every level and every position. And we'll do the best we can to get that done.
Are you saying Lee could remain the state fair manager after review?
I'm not ruling anything out. Yes, sir.
Governor, do you anticipate how many of these political hires you may name yourself? In other words, for your own team? If you wipe some of them out, will you try to keep it at the same level it is, or do you anticipate you'll shrink it or raise it?
My guess is we'll shrink it, but I don't know. I don't really know yet. Again, we're working very hard. Since the election, my primary focus has been recruiting. Recruiting the most talented team we can possibly have of people who just want to be good public servants. Democrats, Republicans, I don't care, want talent, integrity, and people who are passionate about doing a transformation of the state that we all love. And you know what, I'm very gratified. We've got a lot of talented people who've stepped forward and said, boy, we'd love to help. I'm very excited about that.
Governor, of the action of Governor Quinn's that you plan to overturn or try to roll back, will that include the pay raise for state contractors?
Again, I won't comment on specific things. My bias is to take action to undo pretty much everything that Governor Quinn did since the election, because every time we look, most of it's bad. But we'll deal with that in due course. We've got to review everything, and we'll take appropriate action.
Governor, you mentioned that during your meeting with
in
the
the
speaker.
beginning of your term, you know, a year from now, in the end of your term, what is the criteria do you think that the Illinois residents are going to be grading you on, and what do you think will make you a successful governor?
Boy, this is just all about results. And I've laid out, I've been clear. I want to lay the foundation for a booming economy, great career opportunities for everybody who wants to work, an efficient, effective, transparent, ethical government, world-class schools. Improving the schools is not going to happen overnight, but we can lay the structure and the foundation down so we can have great schools. Schools supported but held accountable, giving parents choice in every community. It's going to be an exciting transformation. I'm personally very committed to having the best schools in America here in Illinois in every school district, not just in some.
Governor, you mentioned that you met with the leaders the other day and you talked about first pieces of legislation. What can you tell us about whether there was agreement and what that might be, what we might be seeing?
Well, I'll say a couple things. We have already begun to talk about legislation and legislative options. I don't want to jump the gun and talk about specific pieces yet. I'll say that the working relationship is very cordial, very positive. I'm very pleased, very excited. Good folks, and I think there's a real eagerness on all of our parts to work together and get good things done.
Did you agree on what the issues should be? Was there consensus?
Well, we're still in the early stages of laying out the broad. There's so much to do. There is so much to do that it's going to take many meetings every few days. And the great news is we agreed we're going to be talking all the time. This is the prior administration. My sense is the communication was, what's the right word for it? Lacking or frigid. And that's not going to be the case here. We are all elected to do a job. And we're going to disagree sometimes. That's okay. We can be respectful about it. We can still communicate. And we can still try to find ways to come to agreement or compromise or come to a different channel to get resolution. We got to get things done. It's a big crisis. And in the legislation we've already discussed, I think some ideas came from me, some came from them, and I didn't sense any strong resistance either direction to some of the ideas that got floated.
Broadly about what the
Respectful tone, the legislative leaders from both parties expressed to us the other day, respectfully, he's got a lot to learn, the governor does, and we're going to teach him, we're going to help him. What do you think those areas are that you need to?
I believe in the meeting, the first person to use that phrase was me. And they agreed enthusiastically. And you know what? I'm a pretty good student. And they've been through the wars for how many decades? And you know, I got some stuff to learn. And I think I can help them learn some things about management, about leadership, about the economy, about what business needs. And frankly, I've lived in education and education reform for a long time, decades myself. And we're going to help each other. We're going to work together and get some good things done.
Well, what do you need to learn?
The legislative process, the inner workings, the mechanics. You know what? In business, you don't have to worry, you know, go through it. There's not a protocol of, oh, do you call this person and only go through this chief of staff and only meet on Tuesday of a blue moon or whatever. You know what? I call somebody up and we sit down and we grab a sandwich or a cup of coffee and we work it through, and I don't care where we're sitting or whose seat was next to whose chair at the corner of what table. I couldn't care less. But that stuff kind of, you know, it's like that excellency baloney stuff. I mean, there's sort of this, you know, and pomp and circumstance and tradition, that's good. I don't criticize that. But you know what? Let's be practical. Let's be efficient. Let's communicate. And let's, you know, people who disagree don't have to be disrespectful to each other, and they don't have to be angry with each other. We're all human beings. We're all trying to do the best we can, and we can still like each other and respect each other, even if we're, you know, cracking each other's heads occasionally because we come at something philosophically different. I believe in limited government, low taxes, individual liberty, personal responsibility. I think those are the principles of America. You know what? But I believe in a strong social services safety net. I believe in outstanding public schools. And you know, I believe that certain regulations are needed on business. Regulations on business are important. We've lost our balance in Illinois. Illinois has lost its balance. We've become a one-party state, basically, and the regulatory climate is punishing, the taxes are punishing, and our government has become run for its own benefit. The government's got to run for the people's benefit, not for the benefit of the employees or the politicians or the bureaucracy itself. The bureaucracy in Illinois has run amok, and we're going to change that. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to get a lot of resistance, but you know what? We'll be respectful and we'll work together to get that done.
You put $10 million into your campaign fund after winning election that your staff has said is to be used to push your agenda. What does that mean? This $20 million that you have, is that, I don't know, what do you want to do with that?
Well, just,
Legislators want to know too.
you know, there's an issue of freedom of speech in politics and being able to support an agenda and a vision and political candidates, et cetera. All that is a way for me to get involved in the process going forward. I'll tell you my philosophy, there's an ongoing campaign every day. There's an election, but there's a campaign every day around reform. The voters need to be informed about the issues and what's going on. The voters need to understand my personal view of the issues and the agenda. The folks who might have a different point of view are entitled to their views as well. But we've got to get our message to the voters and to the citizens, the taxpayers, the families, the working families who are suffering and hurting in Illinois. And so there's going to be an ongoing process, but every month. It's not just 2 years until the next election. There's a process of communicating with other people of the state so they understand what's going on and why the actions that we're taking are being done. The reality is we've got to take some tough decisions in the next 6 months, really tough. I'm not going to like it, but you know what? I got to do what I think's right for the long run. That's the critical thing I can promise everybody. I'm going to make decisions that are best for the next 10, 20, 30 years, and so our kids and our grandkids have Illinois as a place that's thriving and prosperous. May hurt me in the next election. That's life. I'm not going to spend a lot of time worrying about it. I want to do the right thing for the long run, and I want to make sure everybody in the state understands that. I communicate with you guys in the media and with the voters directly and get that message out there. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
shuffle out quickly, we do have another